Hello and welcome to Colin Bradley Artcast. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley.
Welcome everyone. Sorry that we had to skip an episode last week. I had barely any voice left, especially towards the end of the day. I think I had kind of what you had, Dad. You lost your voice, I think, as well. And there's a lot of other people that I know that have also had this kind of cough that's just made them sort of lose their voice for a little bit. And especially towards the end of the day, I was really struggling, and I thought I can't record. And we'd been struggling anyway to try and get a time in, and by the time we were free, I had no voice really, so it was best to rest.
We're both very busy at the moment with one thing and another, so it's not surprising, is it? Everybody's got busy lives. I mean, we're not exceptional, but we do seem to, both of us have to find the time. Like today, I've been out all day long today, and you've been saying, when do you want to do a podcast? And now it's ended up quite late in the evening. So it's the way it goes.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Absolutely. Well, at least we showed up this week, and we've got a few very exciting things to talk about. You've been busy. You sent me these first pictures we're going to talk about. You sent me last week, so this is a week behind now. We were going to talk about these last week, but you have started a new picture, so I'll put up the first stage that you've sent me, and that's got the reference picture in there as well, so people can see what you're working on now. And it's a gorgeous little robin. I do love it when you do birds, and I know they're really popular amongst our students as well. What made you to decide to do this one, Dad?
Well, first of all, I love robins, and we've seen so many when we were living or having our mobile home. Do you remember the mobile home? I'm sure you remember it very well. And they were constantly hovering around, and I've just got an affinity for them, and I think most people have. A typical English bird, isn't it? If you think it's like the blue tit, you know it's an English bird, and I just love them. And I've done a couple in the past, but this one I adored. Although you've got him on the branch there's more to that, and you'll see that next week. But obviously at this particular juncture, I was concentrated on the bird himself, and you can see that I haven't completed the wing yet. I've still got the wing and the tail and the feet and the tree, but it's come up really well. I mean, actually, it has now been finished, so we'll see that next week. But I've got a couple of stages here that it's really worth explaining to you what I've done. I've used the dark grey Pastomate paper. Now, why did I do that? Because if you think about it, I tend usually to use the sand, or more recently, I've used the light grey Pastomate, and they worked really well. But this one begged for the dark one. I think probably because of the background, to be honest, and it's proved very well. And if you look at the way that I've managed to get that robin very close to the tonal value of the reference picture, if you look at it. In fact, I think it's slightly better. You know, it's got a better... The only thing you've got a little problem with is the orange breasts. Although it's good, it doesn't quite match that. But I got as close as I could. And to be honest, people aren't going to see. I mean, if you're looking at the original picture, you wouldn't see that picture that I've got there. That's there for the viewers to look at and see how I've managed to get the personality, really. That's what I look for. I'm always looking for the pose and the personality of the animal. And I think I've got that very well. So I was pleased with it.
What I like about this stage is it's just under the wing. I'm me try and find it for you, is this area here, which
Mm.
seems like quite a tricky and challenging. And again, that looks just a carbon copy of this over here. Like they look so similar,
Mm.
but that doesn't look like that was easy to do. Like I imagine because it's so like subtle and graduated, you must have been flicking your eyes backwards and forwards to look at the reference picture to try and get that
Mm.
as close
Mm.
as you could.
Well, it's done in stages, really. People know that. You start with the general color. You know, you've got the white, and you've got the that greyish brownish color, and you've got those two colors. So those two colors have to go together. Now, because we're using Pastelmat, and you know that you can put the light on top of dark. So I'm well aware when I'm doing this, I should be able to put those little flicks back over the top of the dark, and which is what makes it is. But I like that. I actually prefer my version of it to the original, because what I do is tend to emphasize, you know, that little bit of dark that's there. I emphasize that not on the wing itself, but just on the bird, and that I did like. It's a bit like you remember. I think it was last week we were looking at the cat, where I had that little flick. Oops, nearly knocked the mic over then. You know, that little flick under the face. These are the kind of things that I wallow in, and I really enjoy doing them. So I kind of emphasize that a little bit. It's funny you should point that out. I wouldn't have picked that up, but it's nice that seen through fresh eyes, you actually can see it. But I liked it very much. And
Excellent.
but yes.
Well, let's skip ahead to the next stage that you sent me as well. So it's a little bit more finished. Let's have a look at this one now.
Mm. Well, you can see what I mean now. You know, when you finish, when you get to the finishing stage, and the reason when I was looking at the background, I think, what color is it? I couldn't make my mind up exactly what color it is. So what I did, I thought, well, now what colors have I got? What am I using in the bird? And I'm using 175 and that would be a good color, but it wouldn't have been good enough to put on its own. So what I had to do is to find a color that I could put as a base. Now it had to be a dark color. You can't put light colors on the dark. So it had to be a color. And the color I chose was, I wasn't using on the robin at all. So it's a new color, which is 176. Now people probably know this. It's a brown, but it's a very attractive brown. It's almost, if you can call it that, a bit of grey brown. It's not rich, you know, like 177, for instance, or 283 is rich. This is sort of more greyish. So I thought, well, I'll try that. Put that on. Thought, it's all right. I wonder what it would look like with 175 on top. So 175 on top. I think I've got it, I thought. But it needs to be darker. The obvious colour was black. So those three colours, that's 176, 175 and black, and they're the only three colours I used. Actually, I'm lying there. When the bottom area, bottom left-hand edge that I've just done, that was my experimental bit, just to see how it went. I also added 283 in. And I thought, oh, well, that's good because it gives a richness. But actually, it didn't work. I looked at it again. I thought it didn't work.
Why is that? Is it too much color? Too much color going into it?
Yes. I mean, unfortunately, you can't put those two together. If you could put the area where the legs are that I've completed and a side by side with that bit down the bottom, you would see that the bit at the bottom has got a slight tinge of richness about it, because 283 is a rich color. And that's what I didn't like. I didn't want that. I wanted it to be more neutral, if you like. You're probably
Yeah,
not
it's
going to pick that
different.
up.
It's really hard to see on the screen probably up close in real life, you could probably see it a little bit clearer.
You could.
Yeah.
I can pick it up because I know what I'm looking at, but other
Yeah.
people would. And perhaps you could say, "Well, you're being a bit fussy." I'm not being fussy at all. The three colours I actually used for the whole of the background were perfect. You will see that next week, but you'll have to wait for that. But now, why did I put them? Why did I put them in the legs? What did you think? Why do you think I did that? Do you think there was a reason I did that? It's a good reason.
Well, I mean, it really, initially looking at it, it really shows off the animal, like as in it really makes the subject pop. But did you put it by the legs because you wanted to see how it looked against a tree?
Yes, as well as, but that's not the main reason. The main reason is I couldn't get those legs thin enough. They were thick. Now, birds' legs are very thin. Now, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get them thin enough. I got them more or less as I wanted. The main color there is the 187, which I used, and the color that I've used in the bird as well. That's it. That's good. So it's 187, but I couldn't get them thin enough. I thought I will use the background, which I've now established, the three colors. And I closed in and closed in and closed in until I got them thick enough. And it's pretty hard to get them without having that facility, if you like, of putting that dark edge. So I got it right. But yes, as well as I wanted to see what they look like against the tree, because if you look at it, we've got the very dark background, and we've got white of the breast of the bird and the white of the tree trunk or tree branch, but that's darkened. I've darkened the tree now a little more, and I've darkened the breast quite a lot more. So, but you can see how that does work. But if I'd left it like that, it would have been too bright, too severe. So doing what I did, and you'll see, as I say, next week you'll see it.
It looks great.
Well, when you see
to see it.
When you see the finished picture, it'll knock you out. I am probably more pleased with this than I have been for a long time. It just, when you conceive a picture, when you look at a picture, a reference picture, you think, I can do something with this. I just couldn't wait to get the teeth into it. And when I'd finished it, it came out to my expectations. And I was delighted with it.
Brilliant. It sounds great. Can't wait to see it. I'm sure everyone else is excited to see it as well. I want to talk about as well, we're going to talk about next, a new series of exercises that we're putting out on YouTube. Now, these are designed for kind of the absolute beginner, someone just picking up a pencil and wants to give something a try, but perhaps doesn't want to commit to an entire picture because obviously that can be a little bit overwhelming. And also they're ideal for people that are already familiar with the pastel pencils, but perhaps want to just practice techniques, and they can just cherry pick a picture one of these exercises and say, I want to practice that. So they are great little pictures in their own right, but really good for beginners and established artists. So the first one that we spoke about, Dad, and that you've done, which is now on the website and YouTube, is this gorgeous grey cat's eye. And I mean, this one captured both of us, I think, because it was just such a unique colour. And what you've done here is you've used as limited pencils as you can to achieve the result, which is obviously great for those starting out. It's limited investment as well, because these pencils obviously aren't cheap, but also easier to follow and easier to reproduce. So is that also the reason why you decided this one, Dad? Is because it's just so vibrant and bright, isn't it?
Mm. Well, yes, indeed. And of course, being a beginner's picture, and I couldn't use Plastomat. I would have loved to have used Plastomat, but we know how difficult Plastomat is when you're starting out. So I used the Ingres, went back to Ingres again. So that was Ingres paper. So it gives a better start, really. And just those 5 pencils, yes, it's hard to believe, isn't it? But I have to think through the when I've got the reference picture, I have to think through. I think what colours can I get away with? And the most difficult one was the blue. What blue do I use? I ended up using 143 blue, but I would have loved to have the 151 blue and maybe the 140 blue as well. I'd like to put all of them in, but the idea here was not to do that. So I had
Yeah.
to make it as simple and as straightforward as I could. So that's what I've done. And I think it's probably one of the most simplest pictures or sections that I've done. I know
Mm.
we've got some on the website that are, but this is really, really simple and basic. And the next one you're going to show in a minute, that's even more basic than this one. But you're looking at. I have to try to put myself in the beginner's shoes, really, and I think if I've got a few pencils, what do I do with them? How do I work them? And how do I blend them? That's another point that I want to rate. How do you blend them? Do you have to go and buy these blenders that Colin uses? You don't want to put people to that expense. So in the next picture, you'll see I come up with this, not in this one, because I didn't really need to blend this one. Well, I did. I put the white on, then the blue in, and then I use the white to blend the blue, and then the grey as well. I can't remember, that was 233, I think I used to darken the area below the eye itself.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. A great first picture for people to get to grips with. So that is available on YouTube as well to watch. It's only half an hour, really accessible, really easy, and it's also on our website. This one is the second one, which you were just talking about, even simpler, and it goes back to our lovely Robin as well that you've done. But a lovely sort of contained Robin's head there. No background. I see you haven't needed to put a background in there. Just a lovely exercise. A few
right,
pencils.
exactly. Yeah. Well, I'd finished the Robin, you see, at that point, and we were talking about them. And I thought, hey, this Robin's head will make a great first picture, and very much simplified. I mean, you can see only
Yes.
a few pencils used, really. And again, the same reason I had to minimize, but I had to make it attractive enough for people to say, oh, I really like to do that, but not difficult. And it isn't difficult. But you see, what we got there, cotton bud. That's the first time I've ever used one of those.
Yeah, I've never seen you use a cotton bud or a Q-tip, as you would call it in the States, if they're more familiar with that. I've never seen you use one of these.
But everybody's got those, haven't they? I can't imagine a household that hasn't got some of them in the cupboard. So I thought, let's use that. I've also got the Color Shaper and that paper blender as well, which I also used, and I showed people how to use it. To be honest, well, you can see the orange tip that I use for the with the cotton bud. And the thing is, I had to do something, because when you put the orange on Ingres, you have to blend it in some way or other. Now, normally I wouldn't use them, or I would. I'd use the blender, but I'd use other colours. The idea of this is not to use other colours, to keep it as simple as I can. So I use that, and I thought it was good fun, and I shall use it again in subsequent pictures as well, because it worked quite well. It wouldn't replace the Color Shaper. There's no way it can do that. was color shape. It doesn't just blend; it does other magical things as well. And but for someone starting out, it's perfect. So a few
Yeah.
pencils, bit of
And
paper.
that's it. It gets people drawing, doesn't it? It gets people drawing, gets people, producing something they're really proud of, and perhaps they didn't think that they were actually capable of doing. This is the thing. This is sort of what we've always been about, and what you've always, wanted to do, is to show people something that they perhaps didn't think that they were able to achieve, and so easily. So that is the aim of these pictures, and I think you've done a really great job of picking a couple of really good introductory subjects, and as you say, there are more to come
Yes.
to our YouTube channel and our website. It's available everywhere, Udemy as well. So we hope that both members, non-members, people starting out, experienced artists want to give stuff like that a go. It's a great short practice session as well, if there's something that you want to hone your skills with. So thank you, Dad. A couple of really lovely pictures there to talk about. I can't wait to see that, because obviously you have not sent it to me, so I've not seen it yet. So I can't wait to see that finished Robin next week. That's going to be a great one. But yeah, so excellent stuff. Well, I hope everyone's found this interesting and helpful. As always, thank you so much for supporting us and watching and listening to us. Obviously, we're going to keep doing these podcasts as much as we can. We are obviously expecting our second child imminently in the next couple of weeks. So we might again have a little break, just so we can adjust and work out how we're going to fit these podcasts in. But yeah, we're gonna keep going. But yeah, there might be another little break coming. If you see a message on Facebook,
not before next week, Steve. We must have the Robin in before that happens. Otherwise,
can you imagine?
sorry.
Can you imagine? I'd see it, but no one else would see it, and that would be very upsetting for people. No, we'll we'll find a way. We will do next week. I'll tell Mims to not have the baby. Keep him in a little bit longer, please. All right, good stuff. Thank you so much for everyone for watching and for listening. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley. Enjoy
Enjoy your week.